I think we should get this going. As you can see, I am here in Atlanta. Please give me a thumbs up. I just did an absolute turbo setup. You don't understand. I took off. I woke up at like 3 a.m., took an early flight from New York to Atlanta, and then had to zip. You know, the airport's like an hour away from here. Got here, had to do the hellos, the hugs, the handshakes, just now getting everything sort of set up. So let me just, everybody give me a thumbs up. Let me know if the audio, video, everything's well. I am streaming from a completely different setup. As you can see, it's still my sort of home setup, but I'll give you guys a little tour later. Let me know, as I said, if you can hear me, if everything's good. I just want to make sure, because this is a different setup. We got a great show lined up for you today. Good stuff going on. I'm going to go ahead and wait on that. We had some really interesting price action this weekend. I do want to say welcome to everybody that's here in chat. Welcome to everybody. If this is your first time tuning in, or if whatever it is, this is BitLab Academy. We do every day, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, live streams here, no matter where you're at in the world. The whole goal here is to bridge the gap there from beginner to pro, so we can understand. We can throw the rope back a little bit, so we can bring you along, so you understand what we're talking about in support and resistances, or fibs, or you know how we can do this Elliott wave into, like, basically looking at the context of the grander crypto markets, and how do we tie that in to where we can actually apply it to our strategies and our lens onto the market, so that we can be profitable traders consistently over time. It looks like everything is going well here with all the new setup that I have today. So again, thank you everybody that's tuning in. If this is your first time, we will be focusing a bit on the daily price action that's going on right now. But I do want to just encourage everybody. All this data is meant to be looked at any point, wherever we're at in the market cycle, and whatever happens with the price action. The whole point with this is to use the strategies we're using. And we'll look at other instances as well throughout the price action history, so we can really build a strategy and how we can identify healthy price action movement and unhealthy price action movement. So we know if that green rocket ship's starting to take off, and we're getting those, those God candles, as some people call them, and everybody's so super happy. There's a couple things that really can be an absolute detriment to our success in these situations. And a lot of times, I know we've all been there before, where we buy, and the second we buy, the market goes down. Well, that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to identify, using price action, using indicators, using just our awareness of what's going on in the context of the market, that we can make sure that we are engaging with the market when it's ripe to be engaged with. Whether you're going long or you're going short, or maybe just trying to find that best position for the next long swing trade. Well, there's healthy indicators and signals that we can see on the chart that we can identify all this. So again, my name is Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. You can follow me right there on Twitter at the @ symbol there, at Kelly Kellum. And then please follow all of these socials here for the BitLab Academy. We're going to jump straight into it today. You can follow all those socials. Make sure you're following the correct one. But I want to get into the chart since we started a little bit late. Please hit that like button, hit that subscription button. Ting that bell. It really helps us keep this channel going. We just launched this channel about a month ago, and just started doing the live streams last week. So all your support you don't even understand how appreciated it is. So let's go ahead. And if there's any errors with a little bit of the stream stuff, let me know. I have a pop out chat here, so I can try and pay attention to this. But what we're going to be trying to do is we're going to be looking at the chart, and we're going to try to identify what's going on right now, and is this a likely healthy price action with what's going on with Bitcoin? And I promise you, I'm going to try and make it through a couple other coins, so we can really see what's going on with price action and the health of the market. So let's go ahead and jump on here. You can go ahead and follow me here on my Twitter. I was just putting that that tweet up for everybody, and of course you can follow BitLab Academy at Academy BitLab. Go ahead and give them a follow. But I'm going to close this out. I'm not even fully prepared here. As you see, I was running for you guys. You guys don't understand. I landed at, I think, 8:45. So then I had to zoom all the way from South Atlanta all the way up here to North Atlanta. It's not even really Atlanta. It's so far outside of Atlanta. But we're going to come over here. We're going to go to Bitcoin, and I'm going to go to a single chart here. Man, how's everybody feeling today? Okay, we've had about a week, more than a week. We've had really all year, guys. We've had our entire year has been bullish so far. 2023 is proving to be entirely different from 2022, so that's a good thing to. But how's everybody feeling with what's going on in the market? Are you feeling just generally kind of put in here? Are you feeling generally bullish or generally bearish? I'm not going to type out a poll right now. You can just go ahead and type it in there. Are you generally bullish? Do you feel like it's likely that we're going to be getting some positive price action and push up in through 2023, or are you on the camp of still looking for that 9K to 12K or even lower than that, or 14K? What's your sort of call? Where do you think we're going to be at the end of Q1? Interestingly, I just want to bring this up. I thought about this because I pulled up the Twitter. Interestingly, I can speak. I ran a poll, and this is how split the market is right now. Look at this poll that I ran on my Twitter. It was, I mean, that's a pretty equitable split between every price action. And what this shows me right here is gauging the sentiment of the market. This is letting me know that people have no idea what's going on right now. There's, we talk about market cycles a lot, especially on this, trying to really understand what's going on within the market cycles. And what have I always said in every stream? I talk about the 3-cycle strategy, a minimum 3-cycle strategy. And what I mean by that, and I've said it over and over again, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over again, is that we want to look at the macro, the midterm, and the micro. You can call it that, or the local. Some people call it the local. And the smaller you get, the more, the less weight that price action has. For instance, if you look at a 3-minute trend line versus a 3-month trend line, the 3-month trend line obviously is going to hold a lot more weight as compared to the 3-minute trend line. So looking at this, we're trying to identify, we're going to go to the macro, go to the weekly. I'm going to double click on this chart so it minimizes the indicators. Okay. So we're going to try to sort of look at, what we want to do is we want to identify, like, for instance, this right here, this massive pump that we had in July 29th, 2021, that went from 30,000 up to 53,000. So that's essentially that's 84% gain. And so what people need to what all of us need to realize anytime we engage with price action on a chart is we need to realize that there's nowhere price needs to go or it should go. Price is going to do what the market tells it to do, because the price action on the chart is merely a representation of the market psychology around that speculative value of the asset. So don't, and this is myself and many people included, 2022, the metrics were there based on historical trends that we were at 100K was a sure thing. Well, that obviously did not happen. And what we've realized, I hope most people realize, is we have to take into context not only the macro of this macro trend that we're looking at, but also the macro of the broader, socioeconomic of everything that's going on in the world with inflation, with everything that's going on with, I'm actually going to scoot over a little bit there. Didn't see that I was sideways off my chart. Inflation, socioeconomic woes, the pandemic. I mean, there's so much going on, supply chain. And so we really need to look at right now that, we're likely going into a recession as defined, as defined. Not everybody feels like we're in a recession. Well, we haven't had those unemployment numbers yet. And what we're seeing is we're having all of these massive layoffs, and if we go over to, I think it was Game of Trade, or no, Stock Money. There's been, he had a chart here. I don't know where it's at, but there's been a cascading sort of the layoffs are starting to come in. Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet, all these major tech industry people or institutions are really Goldman Sachs. There's Ford. Even Ford is cutting workers in some foreign sort of soils. But what we need to look at is as we're looking at this market movement, this bullish price action, we want to see what other support is following and basically supporting that price movement upward. If we're having an increased momentum, then we should also be looking at our volume. We should be looking at where our strength is at, our stochastics. Also if you have the BitLab trading and trading suite, then you can also utilize all these indicators that we have in here with the divergences and the relative extrema showing in this case right here, we're overheated, likely to the upside. But in this case right here, and I want to just use this as an analogy, this zone right here, I want to use this as an analogy for where we're at right now, and I'll show you why. Because as we saw in the relative extrema, and this, you can relate this also to like the RSI being super oversold, and a likely bounce would be coming. So this is indicating that there is a very likely oversold, and we see the price action pushing down into that. And this is essentially like a slingshot that, when it's coming down below this zero line here, then what we can see is that there's pressure that is far outside of the norms and outside of this wave, and it's likely going to snap back in. So in this case, this does, but what we need to do within this is then we can come in, we can see that the volume, as you see, we're on auto, we can see the volume right here on this hidden volume. This is not going up to the same degree that the price is going up. It's even right here, it's flattening out before, and so we're seeing that there's a likely pullback there. So what we want to do is we first want to acknowledge every push-up has a pullback. Okay, no matter how bullish you are, every push-up has a pullback, and the faster price moves up, so too will it fall. So, and this is evident if you look at this 2017 bull cycle here. We had this massive parabola that went up that just crashed back down with almost equanimity, being the same sort of same size. Now I'm going to zoom this out. I'm going to go over to MACD and RSI. Yeah, here we go. So what we want to look for here, and I also want to go to where's the volume? Let's get our volume. Always good to have volume on the screen. So get the volume there. And I just want to make sure everything's good in there. Just shout out to everybody that's in the chat. I'm so happy to see there's so many regular names that we're seeing in here. It's basically, we've already created a little family here. And I really love seeing all your names. Really love growing this community with y'all. I love the positive energy everybody has here. And I love you all basically helping me, giving me the support as we're starting this and encouraging me along, because I've done a lot of the streaming stuff, but never to where it's like every day, 1 hour, you're the one-man band. So I appreciate all the love and support. Let's keep on going with these charts. So what we want to see is when we have momentum, and I want you to remember every time that we have a candle, a great way to measure momentum is with a minimum of 3 candles. You can see it immediately with 2 candles, but if I'm going to zoom on this chart, we can see right here, as soon as this candle right here, as soon as we can see that basically the disparity, the difference in size of the candles. And the reason why I want to point this out, and I pointed this out over and over on the streams already, is the fact that we have such an amazing indicator with charts that so few people use. They want to use other indicators, and the other indicators are great and they're phenomenal. Even the BitLab trading stack, phenomenal. It's really upped my game, but it can really only do you the most justice with your charts and really have you have the improvement that you really want if you understand price action on a chart first. Because if you understand price action on a chart, meaning how these candles are organized in terms of these various shapes, where you have this large bearish red candle, and then you have increasing momentum, which you can tell because this candle is larger. But then you can see this large wick. You see this large wick. That this is how far the price came down, but then it started to get eaten back up by the bulls. So this is where it closed, and now we have a spinning top here. which is basically this equal size wicks on both sides and basically small block body, meaning there's indecision here. Well, this was very bearish momentum and this was indecision. And then we're getting a little more bearishness. It's testing, but it's finding support here. And then the bulls come in, a little bit indecision, but then the bulls come in and we can see the shifting trends and momentum. And what we want to do is we want to track this, in this case, where we're at right here on January 23rd, 2023. And again, these videos are meant to be watched anytime. I'm not giving you the exact spot to buy or sell. That's not what this is about. I'm helping you have the mindset. I'm helping you have the passion and understanding looking at these charts that you can look into it like it's a lens into what your strategy is. I'm breaking down from the years of experience I have how I'm looking at these things and correlating them with various different signals, asset markers, indicators, momentum, all these volume, all this stuff. How do we paint an accurate picture as to what our price action should be? Oh man, I'm just peeking at the chat. We got a lot of people chatting in here. I love this. Shout out from Atlanta this time. I'm not in New York. Yeah, you guys have no idea how fast I was scrambling earlier I had to set up a secondary monitor down here, it was crazy. There's a lot more than that, but let's keep it going on these charts. So is this a bull trap? Or is this a healthy movement? Well, one of the things I want us to consider is the length of, we're gonna go back to the macro, we're on the macro, we're gonna zoom out. I want us to consider the length of time and the 4-year cycle that we're all very aware of here. I'm gonna move this over. So we wanna understand we wanna consider the 4-year cycle. There we go, now I'm in the middle. We wanna consider the 4-year cycle because where we're at right now, based on even with this move, we're on this massive descending wedge. And if you don't know, the descending wedge is actually a very bullish pattern. In the case of the macro, it might take a very long time to play out. In this case, we could see here from basically it's starting roughly around here to where we're at there. I mean, that's 480 days, over a year. So this is inherently a bullish structure. And when you think about Bitcoin and crypto, not all crypto is created equally. Bitcoin, there are other excellent projects as well, Ethereum, Cardano. There's some speculation on Avalanche. Some people like it, some people don't. But Chainlink, Cosmos, there's so many great projects out there. But we need to understand that as bearish as this feels, because we've been in a downtrend, considering when you use this 3-cycle strategy, knowing that this downtrend that we're in is within a bullish structure, and look at how these structures break out when they do break out, So, I mean, even from here to there, it's, 600%. So if we were just to, and this isn't how I would do it, but if we were to mimic this movement here, going up to, I don't even know where it would be. I'm not a fan of the auto. Okay, let's see. I mean, it'd be high. It'd be high. And that's not how we're doing our measurements. That's not even necessarily relevant. My point with this is that this is, as terrible as it's felt, those that go through these cycles start to understand that these sorts of moments are what define your profits in the bull market. So we want to identify, I'm going to turn off the BitLab market intelligence. We want to identify this movement here. Is this a bull trap? Similarly to when we look here, was this going to continue breaking down or was this a bear trap? These things work in the inverse of each other. So when we zoom in on this chart, just checking in here, alrighty. When we check in on this, this movement, we can see a couple things. First off, I want you to always, when you do your macro, midterm, micro, and I was speaking with one of my clients the other day, just letting him know, like, before you do anything on a chart, no matter how often you look at charts, try to give yourself the humility to come into charts and sometimes remap them entirely. Start with a completely fresh chart, and I'm not going to do that right now because there's so much stuff I want to get through. But if you are having trouble charting, or you're having trouble with TA, or you're having trouble, go through the playlist that I have here on BitLab Academy on the YouTube here, because we've got a number of different videos, streams that we've done that we're breaking down, how to set up these layouts so you can have it customized how you want, how to use the various tools, how to do basic TA, there's so much stuff that I'm really trying to build a foundation with everybody here, so we can always reference back to that if we need to, so we can go deeper. So sometimes here I want you to come in and chart a new chart, be fresh, mark your local tops and your points of interest, meaning where there's been a lot of price interaction. As you can see here, it's finding support a lot of times. So this is really what we're looking at right here. Everybody's saying this is, so bullish, so bullish. But what we really want to know is this even have we even started a bull market yet? Everybody's so bullish to say that we've started a bull market, when in reality, what we have not done yet is broken out of this, especially on the weekly. Let me come to a smaller time frame. Let's go to a 3-day. So we're kind of in the midst of trying to flip this massive downtrend of resistance, which is this line here, this downward trend line. We're trying to see if we can flip this as resistance and flip this from resistance to support. And the way we can confirm this is if this price continues up and then passes any of this, for instance, this sort of zone here, this would be like the 25K region, finds support on that, then this is also, you can also consider this resistance flip to support. If it breaks past that, continues on, and then flips the next line of resistance above it, if it goes all the way to that and flips that to support, that's also a confirmed breakout. But what we're doing right now is we want to establish that we're also, we have higher lows. Okay, we're having small higher lows, but these are this pattern has not played out yet, as you can tell. This is kind of a pattern playing out, and this is, of course, on the 3-day chart. But what I'm seeing here is we're talking about momentum. We have momentum up. It's bullish engulfing, a little bit smaller, bullish engulfing, bullish. I mean, massive bullish candles that are just growing in size until we get to this level here, which makes sense. Previous sort of level high, we find a pause. We can see that momentum in the candlestick, and we're having the same issue right now. So what we want to do, and I'm going to go back to the traditional indicators here, what we want to do is identify where we're at with our stochastic. Well, I don't know why this stochastic is stochastic RSI. I do not like that one. I like to have the stochastic, just straight stochastic. Let's see how many times I can say stochastic in 2 minutes. So, a mellow fellow, you can email me or go to the customer service thing on bitlabacademy.com and send a message. I'm the one that answers that, and I'll take care of you. But so here we go. We have momentum moving to the upside, and we have the stochastic here on the bottom. This is essentially a faster reactionary. It's different than the RSI, but it moves faster in a similar way, measuring opens and closes and how far apart they are. So if you're growing over time in momentum or waning, and stochastics move faster than RSI, so it's easy. It's easier to sort of gauge it. Now, on the weekly here, this is important right here, especially on the macro. I like having a line on my RSI right about the 50 level because inherently on the macro, if RSI is above it, there's still the bullish nature to the market, and if you're below it, especially if you're getting rejected below it, and this is kind of a critical moment right here, which on multiple levels. Look at this. On the weekly, we have the stochastics topped out. We have the RSI fighting right at the 50 line, and then we also have the MACD isn't yet kind of rolling over, but we're also finding this massive sort of support, which we haven't. These resistances that we're fighting, they're not finite lines. They tend to have like a bit of a region, and price gets manipulated, as you can see here. It has a region below it. Also over here where it broke down in June of 2014 and sucked right back inside of it. So we want to know, is this going to push out or not? Well, we're going to do the macro, midterm, micro. So now let's come down to the daily. This is, let's zoom out a bit. So what we can see here is that this is, and why is my volume still coming off here? There we go. And so what we are looking for here, there we are, moving average. We want to see volume supporting this move up, and we are starting to see an uptick here, supporting that. It's not a huge amount of volume, and rightfully so, because we've had this massive downtrend we've been in. Every time we've gotten any sort of upward movement, it's been rejection. You know, we didn't even make it all the way over until here. So we very likely could be rejected. But when we look at that macro picture, when we're talking about the 4-year cycles, sorry, I just saw an error on my message on my screen. When we have the 4-year cycles, where we're at based on that with Bitcoin fits perfectly to about right now. We should be looking to form that bull market floor. But the context of the market and all the inflation, all the stuff we mentioned earlier, is suggesting very likely that because of the pressures on the economy, that we still have new lows to see in the stock markets. The question now will be, how is Bitcoin and crypto going to respond to that if it were to play out? And all we can do when we're doing TA is we could take all that, we could have all that in our head and be aware of it in general context. But at the end of the day, all you can do really when you're trading and investing is do as much diligence as you can to be aware of these things. But then you need charts will give you so much information. It gives you sort of as close to real-time information about how people are feeling about the markets because you're seeing their trades of buy and sell on the chart. So in this case, we've flipped this to support here, as you can see. We shot right through this massive downtrend. So if it were me, I would still be looking somewhere in this region every single time. Can never find the rectangle. I'd be looking for a rejection if it doesn't happen somewhere in this region and rolling over. I'm having a lot of trouble today with this different setup. You get my point. Right here, having a rejection at this level and test. We're going to need to test some of these levels or break these levels, go higher and go sideways and really show support. Otherwise, the likelihood is that, and I drew this out the other day. I'm going to come in here. Where is it at? Right here. This is what I drew out. I actually shared it on a tweet. This is kind of how I see the likelihood of what's going on with price action, into the next parabola bull market top, which, and I'm not saying it's going to go to $200,000, but what I'm pointing out here is the 3.618 fib that has to do with the previous cycles from top to bottom, showing that extension. Has proven to, look at that, right at the 3.618 fib. So, but what we're doing right here, in order to get there, there's going to be a lot of price action along the way, going up, breaking down, doing essentially. I mean, you can see. I don't know where you can see right here. Essentially, and all right here, what you're seeing is the market shaking people out, like pushing up right here, maybe coming back with a scary wick and then pushing up. But either way, we could still get all the way up to in the $44,000 to $52,000 range. I want people to realize this. That could be the biggest bull trap in history. I mean, we could go all the way up to $50,000, which is the golden pocket retrace from all-time highs to this current lows. And we could get rejected there and continue into a longer sort of like entrenched sort of bull market, bear market for years. That is a possibility. I don't believe that's going to happen. It is a possibility, though. We need to be aware of that. In terms of this smaller time frame, where we're at, if we come down back into the 4 hour, let's get that big on screen. What we want to know is this is very healthy price action so far. We had larger time frames on the macro, the broader midterm and macro, bullish divergences on RSI and on MACD and on a number of unbalanced volume, a number of signals were signaling that something was to come. So when it did come, it wasn't some huge shock that it did. But what we do need to realize is when we get these moves that are very fast to the upside, we want to know, is it true buying? Like, is somebody actually at a computer, at a terminal, a trade terminal, or at their desk or on their phones? Are they actually pressing buy? Or is this fueled by basically an unhealthy sort of leverage in the market? Because if, for instance, if we had a trend line, and I'm just making this as a hypothetical, if we had a trend line like that, and the second this breaks out, this rockets up, and I know all of us have had that moment where we've been staring at the screen and all of a sudden the candles just, and they just explode to the upside. And you're like, oh my God, that's unhealthy leverage in the market. No, I don't want to necessarily call it unhealthy. It's just, that means there's a lot of leverage in the market, and there's a lot of shorts. For instance, if you're getting the cascading huge candles to the upside very quickly, that tends to be a combination of new buyers coming in, but a lot of it is triggered by shorts being liquidated because it went beyond their stop loss, or they either had stop losses because they didn't want to get liquidated, or even worse, a lot of people not taking the time and having the patience to wait for appropriate trade setups. And then when you make them, using good risk management and putting in your stop losses on very conservative levels, especially if you're on leverage, because there's no reason why you should ever be liquidated on a trade. With the tools that we have and all the different exchange services that are out there, there's no reason why you should ever be liquidated. And I'm saying this coming from experience, being somebody that got liquidated for about $70,000 in one, in 2 trades. So I'm speaking not out of 2 sides of my mouth. I've learned the lesson of, 1, how much it sucks, and 2, looking back, how freaking stupid I was for not practicing what I was aware of because I got greedy. So in these moves right here, these potential bull traps or bear traps, all you can do at this level in the game, and what level in the game is this? The level in the game that we're at right now is right here. I'm pulling this up again. The level of the game that we're at is somewhere in this region right here. We might have another little push, pull, shakeout, attempted. And there's going to be some wicks, and there's going to be some market makers pushing the price action beyond where it should go. And it should, and they're trying to accumulate as much as they have. Tim Warren, back from when I worked with at the Crypto Jeb team, and then Tim Warren now over at the Investor Bros, he said it beautifully. It's like when we miss the boat, we miss the boat. When institutions miss the boat, when market makers miss the boat, they bring that boat back. And that's when you get these levels right here. It comes down and the buyers start coming in. Well, institutions aren't ready yet, and people's sentiment isn't ready yet. So they send it back down, the price breaks back down, and then there's few enough short-term holders, there's few enough weak hands that the long-term holders are like, well, I've identified this as my level. So you basically establish this floor of actual smart, I don't want to call it fully smart money, but smarter money in the market, the longer term holders, people that are longer term investors, looking at data, not just looking at the price. They're like, man, fundamental development's been great over 2022. We're at a pretty good level. I said I was going to buy at if we ever got to again. So they enact their plan. and they start buying this, and that we get this, you know, and people, the short-term holders that bought, and or some long-term holders get to the point where, you know, it gets to this level and they're at break even, not even in profit, and they get out because they don't have the cojones to really deal with this. Well, here's the deal: you don't need cojones to deal with this market. You need a plan. You need a plan, and you need patience, and you need time. So we are waiting on this, all of this to sort of take place. So what we can do right now is this right here, just so you know, is the same as this right here, because this is the start of a cycle. This is a breakdown. This is the start of another cycle. So what I'm doing is I'm trading actually fairly. I'm trading on spot. It's what I'm doing right now. I'm accumulating. I'm getting positions. I'm kind of jockeying a little bit between some coins, as you know, as I do more diligence on this one and that one, and I like this, or I you know, one of my coins actually went into quite a bit of profit, so I took half that profit and moved it, reallocated it into another coin, and some into my cash bank account. Because what is this all for if you're not taking profits at some level in the game? So I'm trading spot, accumulating. And what we do, this whole lesson is about spotting a bull trap. Well, what we can do right now, I think the market is so hungry for some positivity after a bearish sort of, I mean, felt like a decade, but it was only a year and a little over a year, with the last bear market just breaking down forever and ever and ever. What we want to do is we want to play this level by level. You're not going all in on something and just letting it ride and checking back and seeing that you got completely liquidated. That's not what we're doing. We're playing this level by level until we really form, especially if we're on like the daily. We want this to roll over at some point. We want to see, whether it's here or here or here, whatever it is, what we really want to see for confidence in like some strong moves into the bull market is for this to roll over and find support, or go sideways and find support and see volume coming in, to see if it's going sideways, that it's not just RSI is just hovering on overbought way, you know, with this signal way up here while it's going sideways. No, we want the RSI to pull back down. We want the stochastic. We want this stochastic to also cool back down here, because essentially this is like, if you ever played any video games, you know, and you have like your character has a certain amount of health or mana or stamina, and when they're running super fast, then all of a sudden, it exhausts them, and then you have this longer period of time that they need to cool down before they can. But you can also just walk for a second, continue moving, but not run, not sprint anymore, and you see the stamina slowly build up. This is very similar to like stochastics and RSI. It's allowing the market to find confidence at the level and come down to where you have room to move to the upside in your next bull move. So you're not already at an overheated level on a technical data level when you just start moving, because then it's you don't have enough fuel in the tank to support it. And the move that you have will likely give you something like a BART pattern, which it goes back to what I was talking about in regards to these very quick moves. If this is a very quick move up, this very likely, there's still potentiality that this just gets rejected back down. If you know, everything's on such a thin razor hair right now, with something said from the White House, or from not this Bits Lotto nonsense that they're touting themselves about. That just grinded my gears, you know. But no, if we have like some detrimental regulation come in, or something terrible happens with the XRP case, or something, another exchange goes down, like a major one, we have to protect ourselves right now, because we're in a very early stages of a potential strong bullish cycle, which will likely have an upturn and a down pullback, and then our parabola, because same thing as this right here, massive uptick. I mean, you guys realize this was a 300% uptick, and then followed by a I hate that this doesn't do if there's a indicator there, followed by a 70% bear market, followed by then, you know, the market moves. It's your job to move with it, navigate it effectively, or be patient and hodl, or get out of the market. Those are your three options. And being here, being at these sorts of streams, being in BitLab Academy. If you haven't gone to BitLab Academy, definitely check it out. We've got great stuff there. And this is the studio that we're doing all the new courses in. We have 200 new lessons that are going to be start rolling out Q1, 25 new courses with, I mean, all kind of stuff. So definitely doing things like this and learning from different voices, not just my voice, not just Frankie Candles, not just Tim Warren, not just, you know, Crypto Face, whoever it is. All these people can be ingredients in your story. So what I'm seeing right now, to wrap this out, I'm gonna wrap this out a few minutes early because I was running so fast getting in here. I have some things I need to do. But to wrap this out, what I'm seeing here is that we have had the market pushed up. Fine. We had signals leading up to it with bullish divergences, so that lends me to believe that this is a healthier movement than not. We're seeing volume tick up, but the volume still has not reached this moving average, and these levels have not reached the levels of these drops. Now, given these were fire sales because we have massively terrible news, so I'll discount that a little bit, but we do want to see volume come up on this for it to be a healthier move with the sentiment behind it, because if the sentiment's not behind the move, then it's easier to collapse like a house of cards. So having volume come in is a technical measurement of saying, hey, people believe that this is a good move. So they start paying into it. What I'm most looking forward to on this this price action is having some resistance, which in this case, this played out very well. This potentially could have been rejected at this level, and this played out and this broke right through this. So I want to see some stability here, or further upward movement with a pullback that finds support. And so I'm practicing very tight stops that are basically my levels are generally about, they're not just inside of this trend line. They're roughly in this region here. I'm not going to tell you exactly what my stops are, but they're roughly in this region here. And on other alts, then we could actually go over some of those real quick, because I said I would, and I am a man of my word. So let's go ahead and leave that. These are some of the ones that I'm really looking at right now. So we talked about chain length the other day. You know, everybody's asking about Gala because they had that massive pump and then the pullback on the news. Let's go to the macro. Okay. Not a lot of data there, right? Especially on this chart. So that broke out. Let's see if there is another Gala chart. Let's go to actually Gala. Yeah. This one will be more. So this move, we're going to come back over to here. So this was a long time coming. They had good news. It came out. This is balanced with what's going on with Bitcoin, Ethereum. I mean, the crypto market in general. The sentiment's starting to look more bullish. But if this were to pull back, I'm going to look. I'm going to do J. All right. If this were to pull back, I'd be looking at a level, because I don't think this is a bull trap either, but I do think we are going to come back. Probably this level here, somewhere in this region between 3.5 cents up to 4.5 cents, somewhere in this region. I think it's going to pull back to kind of reestablish that sort of zone. There. Man, it's so weird having your setup be completely different than it is every day of the week. My mind keeps getting lost because I'm trying to find things on a different screen. Yeah, so I don't think this is a bull trap. I do think this is going to have a strong pullback. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a trap. Bull trap would be, essentially if the price comes up like this and really traps people and then continues down into a bearish trend. I do think we're going to have a strong retest on this. So patience is key right now, but we're all watching Bitcoin. Everybody's watching Bitcoin. Bitcoin will likely run and then pause, having some sort of push up really high or even a quick retrace, scam sort of retrace. Then a lot of the capital will likely move over into altcoins. That's a lot of times what happens. You have the cyclical nature of Bitcoin and the rest of the alts where Bitcoin will run. And then after all that capital and liquidity is in Bitcoin, then it starts to be cycled out into, people take profits from Bitcoin, and then you start seeing massive runs in the altcoin market, and it's basically scattershot, and so what I want to say about that is regarding having bull traps. One of the things that I've seen a lot of people do in previous cycles is they might be holding something like, let's say Bitcoin, Ethereum, and 3 or 4 other coins, and they're sitting there holding Chainlink, and Chainlink's not moving, and they see Polkadot move, so they're like, oh, they feel like they have this FOMO, the real FOMO, so they sell their Chainlink and they get on the Polkadot train because Polkadot's running. Well, what they're doing is they're catching on the train. They're catching a moving target because it's already pumped lightly. It's going to pull back now, and then what's happened so many times, I've talked to so many people about this, then after they move from Chainlink to Dot starts pulling back and Chainlink starts running because it's almost like a waterfall effect across like an entire marshland, where you have Bitcoin, the main liquidity pool for capital in all of crypto. I mean, you know that immediately just by looking at coinmarketcap.com and seeing that Bitcoin is $440 billion market cap, whereas everything else is Bitcoin is 42% of all of the crypto market cap of this right here. It's $1 trillion in all of crypto, and Bitcoin has 400 billion. So liquidity tends to funnel into Bitcoin first and then push into and it's flow out and through these other projects. And it depends on news cycles. It depends on fundamental development with these assets. It depends on so much. But the point is, right now in this bear market, the beginning of the bull market, this accumulation zone that we're in right now, you should be finding your positions. And for instance, Gala, I'm looking at Gala because you know what I see? I'm seeing this momentum as we talked about, and then smaller candle, meaning momentum is waning, smaller indecisive candle, it's a little bit of an attempt, but it's really just rounding like this. I'm looking for a pullback so I can improve my position on Gala. And then when I look at Cardano, for instance, let's look at Cardano. Let's go to the weekly. I mean, look at that. I mean, this is primed for so much upside. And anybody that waited on Cardano last cycle knows that this thing can be a sleeper forever. But then when it runs, you are so sad that you were not patient with this project. So this is also similar. Look at this. Indecisive to the downside, showing rounding bottom right here, and this sort of move right here. Finding support on these trend lines, increased momentum to the upside, but this is starting to wane. And then look at this on the relative extrema. Look at this down here on the bottom. We can see massive candles that are not even, the cloud isn't even there. Look at how far outside of these candles are. So this is on the weekly. If I just come down to the 3-day, even the daily, look at these way outside. So we're seeing a likelihood of a potential pullback for Cardano. And so I'm looking at, levels that I have target set, and I have different, and this is what you want to do. Don't consider everything a trap. Consider some things an opportunity, because if price rolls over, great. That gives you a second chance especially if the signals are better this go around. If something does break down, if something pushes up and then it breaks down and it has a higher low and there's more support and there's more volume, then you know that you're getting a good move. If your other indicators line up, your stochastics are low at your trade entry on that level and an earlier time frame. For instance, if you're trading a 1 hour, your stochastic, you should not be entering a trade on 1 hour unless your stochastics are reset on the, the 30-minute or the 15-minute, things like this. So you can identify the price action movement as opportunities for you to establish strong portfolios into the next bull market, or if you're in a bull market, to start de-risking your portfolio. For instance, when we're looking at Bitcoin, way back here, and you made a ton of money, maybe you even got in right here. But once we see, even on here, we see this smaller momentum to the upside. This is the key right here, especially now we have a lower high. At this point, you should be de-risking your portfolio, or your assets. And in this case, where we're at right now, it's the inverse of that. I'm not telling anybody what to do. This is not financial advice, but based on where we're at in market cycles historically, it is a clear time to start finding those entries and looking at this, not so much like a bull trap, but trying to define the health of this move, which we have. And then utilizing the pullback from this move when it comes as an opportunity to use good risk management, but to find better entries than the current price action that we have right now. So that's all I got for you today. I'm going to come back to the big screen here, if I can find my mouse. There we go. I so love all you guys. I appreciate you all so much being here. Thank you for working with me. Tomorrow's not going to be like this. I'm going to be a little bit more, my mind's going to be focused. I'm not going to be running from the airport here, setting things up. I'm going to have my stuff set up. I really appreciate y'all being here. Please hit that like button, smash the subscribe, ting the bell. Again, my name's Kelly Kellum. We do this every day, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And how fun is this market right now? We have the opportunity to really be set up for incredible success if we just practice patience, use a little bit of diligence, and tune into communities like this. Thank you all so much. Big love to all of you. Over and out. I'll see you. Adios, muchachos. Thanks you for watching. Tomorrow I will be more focused, and so will you. Gonna find those entries. Thanks, everybody.